Disclaimer, this podcast discusses mental health. It is not a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. If you're struggling with your mental health, please remember it's okay to ask for help and seek the appropriate help through a qualified healthcare professional.
Welcome back to the podcast where we ask the question, what makes you happy? My name is Jake Pearson, and today we have with us a co-creator of Siren Soapbox Podcast who encourages other explorers to join them in their adventures. And when they're not podcasting, they're a project manager at a national bank. Mary Hodge from Cincinnati, Ohio, United States. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for having me tonight.
I'm super excited to talk all things that make you happy. Mary, would you start with that for us? What does make you happy?
Well, I love scuba diving. So that's one thing that makes me super happy. Spending time with my family, especially my boyfriend and his kids. And any of the work that we do for the podcast just really fills my soul.
And has it been something that you've really reflected on recently to discover what makes you happy? Or have you kind of just known that for quite a long time?
Well, actually, your questionnaire kind of helped me reflect on that a little bit. I do not believe in doing anything that is boring. So I try to always not to be hedonistic or anything, but I do try to do things that make me happy as much as I can.
Yeah, lovely. And so you sort of just cut out all the fluff and you don't give time to the things that you're not really interested in, right?
That's correct.
I'm very similar. I tunnel vision on the things that just give me the joy. And it's kind of like, well, what time is it? Or I've just spent all this time doing all the things that make me happy. But Mary, thank you for sharing that. And it's great to know that you have a couple of things in your life that you really enjoy doing. Scuba diving, I've never heard anyone say that yet, but that's a really cool one. What made you realize scuba diving made you happy?
For your listeners, Cincinnati, Ohio we're landlocked. There's no ocean or anything near us. But oddly enough, there are about 15 dive shops in our area. So it's more popular than you would think in our little neck of the woods. But what happened when I became certified, it was just simply to become one of my friends' dive buddies. And then I quickly realized that it's really a great form of meditation. You have to focus on your breathing, and you're constantly breathing. And although you're diving with friends, it's kind of a solo thing. So, you're underwater, sort of flying around underwater and breathing, and it just feels freeing.
Yeah, I really love that. And it's like, I could probably refer to that like when you go on a hike with someone, right? But you don't talk and you're both just present, and one person's maybe 20 meters ahead and you're both looking at different things and experiencing different things and taking in different things. Is it similar in that way?
Well, for sure. Yeah, because you can't talk to each other. So you are sort of making your own observations. You might see something pointed out to your friend or whatever, but yeah, it's sort of the same thing.
Lovely, Mary. And this is the part where the listeners may be feeling, hey, well, what can we learn from Mary? What would Mary share with us? What would you share with our listeners who are struggling to find something that makes them happy in their lives?
It would be good for them to maybe find a person that they can have adventures with, or somebody that they can confide in about maybe how they're feeling, and make a plan to just go to dinner or go see a movie or something that's going to get you out of that funk.
Yeah, I completely agree. I know I've got one or two people that I can really just confide in unconditionally. And even though I know quite a lot of people, they're sort of my go-to and have really helped me since my childhood. Honestly, my childhood best friend. Do you have someone like that for you? Is that your partner?
For sure. I have actually one of my friends that I was hanging out with last night. I've known her since I was 8 years old. So she's sort of my go-to for every problem I have. If I need to do something fun, she's going to say yes, that kind of thing.
Oh, yes. That's beautiful, Mary. Mary, thank you so much for coming on and spending time to share all things that make you happy. We really do appreciate your time here.
Thanks for listening to the podcast. We hope it gives you something to think about on your quest to discover what makes you happy. Make sure to check out whatmakesyouhappypodcast.com to connect with today's guest and follow us on all our social media platforms, and to stay up to date at what's happening next at What Makes You Happy. Don't forget to share this episode with a friend, and we'll see you next time.